Hi there, Jus4Sweetz here. Today I'm going to make a anytime sandwich. It's a BLT with an E twist. And we're going to make some sweet potato pan-fried potatoes. So you could serve this for breakfast, brunch, lunch. You could even have it for dinner. It's got your proteins, your carbs, your vegetables, everything. So it's an anytime meal. I made my bacon. I made 3 strips of bacon for one sandwich, and I'm going to get my bagel over here in the toaster. I'm not going to toast it yet, and what I have, which I broke, so please excuse me for my mess. I'm going to have to piece it together. But I have a jalapeno cheese bagel that I'm making this sandwich on. My grease is really, really hot, so I got to turn it down, probably take it off for a second. So I made 3 strips of bacon in this pan. I'm going to use that leftover bacon grease, and I'm going to make my sweet potato pan-fried potatoes. I boiled 1 sweet potato last night. Now, if you were making this for a group, obviously you would need more. I boiled 1, peeled it, boiled it, and then I cubed it. And they're not completely soft, but almost soft, so that the cubes kind of stay together, and we'll get those in the pan. So that's, you want to pre-boil and cube them. Then we have some eggs, we have some lettuce for our sandwich, some tomato, our bacon, and I have some GOUDA cheese, and then all of our seasonings. So let's get this started. This is pretty warm. I'm going to add just a dash of olive oil to the bacon grease because there's not a whole ton of bacon grease. We're basically just using it for flavor. And we're, without dirtying another pan, we're doing 2 steps in one here. So we've got our oil going. Let that get hot. And then we're going to need a pan for our egg. So, a pan for the egg. Okay, so let's get our potatoes going. Be careful because the grease might be hot. You can hear it sizzle. So there's our cubed sweet potatoes that have been pre-boiled. To the sweet potatoes, I am going to add a little bit of sea salt. Use kosher salt or whatever kind of salt you want. I'm going to use some sea salt. This is empty, so it looks like I'm spraying a lot on here, but I'm really not. Plus, you've got some of the salt from the bacon grease. But I do buy a low-sodium bacon, so there's not a ton of extra salt in there. We're going to use some pepper, and I have this pepper container that's tricky and always pours too much pepper out, so I got to make sure the lid's on. Alright, so we've got some pepper on those. Now I'm going to add my Wild Tree Garlic Galore on there, which you've heard me talk about a million times. If you don't have Garlic Galore, don't get frustrated. You can use garlic salt. I like Lowry's because it has the parsley seeds in it, and this has parsley in it as well. And if you use the garlic salt, just, don't use the sea salt in it. If you don't have garlic salt, you can use dehydrated garlic. You can use garlic powder. Go back to Linda's Pantry and watch her video on how to make her homemade garlic powder. And that's really good in this. The last thing we're going to use is some smoked paprika. Now this just has a little bit of a smoky flavor rather than the regular paprika. But if you don't have it, you can use regular paprika. You can use some red pepper in it if you'd like. Alright, so we got those going. I'm going to turn this up a little bit now. They're all seasoned. You could feel free to add mushrooms and onions to this if you want to. I'm just going to make a basic pan-fried potato. Last night I made some sweet potato salad, and it was with like a hot bacon dressing, and it was so good. And this was just kind of one of the leftover potatoes from that. So kind of in a food 911 sense. I'm using a leftover bagel that I have. I've got some bacon. I have lettuce and tomato that need to be used. So, why not? Let's make a yummy anytime meal. So we're going to kind of stir those around a little bit. They're basically already cooked. So all you really want to do is we're heating them, we're browning them a little bit, and we're giving them some flavor. So we're going to let those cook. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to wash and slice this tomato. Here's our bacon strips right here. I'm going to turn on my bacon pan, or I'm sorry, my egg pan, if I can get it to turn on. Okay, turn that on low, let that get going. I'm just going to cut some tomato slices. Our tomato slices here. I don't think you can see me cut the tomatoes, but that's okay. Okay, so these are going. Let those get brown. The smell of the smoked chipotle smells so good. It adds a nice flavor. I've seen them use it on TV a lot, and I was so curious as to what it was like because I had never used it before, and I tried it. We're going to go ahead and put our bagel down. I tried it, and I love it. I've been using it in a lot of things. I actually used it in my sweet potato salad last night, which I have to say was really good. I'm going to have to make a video on that one. The hot bacon dressing was so good. It was just something completely different from your traditional potato salad. So, okay, so we've got our egg pan going. Gonna need a spatula. Just make sure you guys can see this. I think you can see it. I'll try to zoom you in a little bit. There's a little bit, maybe a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit. Normally I use butter. But if you want to make this a little bit low calorie, which I don't know why, because this is definitely not a low calorie meal, you could use, substitute the butter with some spray grease, or spray grease. The buttered flavor spray grease works really good too. So you could try that as well to make it a little bit less, caloric, I guess is the word. Less calories, less cholesterol, but basically, we're frying sweet potatoes, which are better for you than white potatoes, in a little bit of bacon grease and olive oil, and then we have a bagel sandwich with bacon on it. So I don't know, this is definitely something you make maybe on a Sunday, your day to eat the things that you really want to eat. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, and we are going to fry an egg. Now this egg is going to go on top of our BLT. That's the E. That's the twist. So it's basically a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. It's done on a jalapeno bagel. You don't like jalapenos, go ahead and get something different. And it's going to have some bacon, lettuce, tomato. I'm going to leave off the mayonnaise. I don't think it needs it, but if you want mayonnaise on it, go right ahead. There's a lot of cheese and moisture in the bagel already, so I don't think we need those extra calories put in the sandwich. Plus you've got the juice of the egg, so I think that it's going to be pretty good without it. We've got everything frying. Keep an eye on your potatoes. Shake them around. If you could only smell these. They smell so good. Think of like going into a restaurant and smelling bacon and that smell, and then with all the seasonings, it's just heaven. It's good. And those are browning up real nicely. We don't want them too crispy unless you like yours extra crispy. I like mine a little bit on the crispy side. By the time we get this egg sandwich done, it'll be perfect. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do a flip on the egg. Now, I'm not fancy. I can't do the flip with the pan. So I have to use a spatula because I'll break it. Now, I have some shredded Gouda cheese that I got at the grocery store. And I'm going to just throw that on top so that it kind of gets a melt. Put as much as you like, as little as you like. Remember, it is a jalapeno cheese bagel, so it's got some cheese on it already. I'm going to pop that up and let it cool. And go ahead and start putting this sandwich together. So if you can see that, I'm going to turn this off. Turn the egg off, and then I'm going to put a lid on it to get that cheese to melt. So just get one of your lids and put it over the pan. Let that cheese melt. There's no heat left, so it's just the heat of the egg in there. Here is your bagel. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start building this. And the way I'm going to build it is I'm going to build it with the lettuce on the bottom. Makes it easier than everything tipping over. I'm going to go ahead and put your tomatoes. I have 4 slices of tomato. You can use just 2 if you like, but when it's a BLT sandwich, I want to taste the tomato on it. And these are just little Roma tomatoes. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put on, we have our 3 slices of bacon, and I'm going to cut them in half. Now, you don't have to use all 3. I'm actually only going to use 2.5 because that covers the sandwich pretty well. That egg, the cheese is melting, the top of our bagel's done, our potatoes are almost done. I mean, and really, how long did this take? Less than 10 minutes, I think. Let these get a little bit more crispiness to them. We'll turn them up so that they brown on the outside a little bit more. Our egg is almost completely melted. And remember, the heat from the top of the bagel coming out of the toaster makes the cheese melt a little bit more. This is where I broke it, so we're going to kind of marry it together. The cheese on the top of the bagel is all nice and brown and crispy. I'll put that right there. And if you want to serve it nicely, just kind of put it on the platter, put them next to each other. You're going to want to wipe your platter down. I just have it on a nice white plate so you can see how everything looks. Now we're going to grab that egg out of there and see how the cheese is all melted by putting the lid on there. It's all melted without overcooking everything. So we're going to stick that on top. Isn't that beautiful? Now if you wanted to, you could add some hot sauce to that, which would make it really good. Or like I said, if you want to make mayonnaise, or not make mayonnaise, if you want to make mayonnaise, you can. I don't make mayonnaise. You can put mayonnaise on the top of it, on the top bun there, or actually if you want to make a hot sauce mayonnaise, go ahead and put like 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, maybe even probably just 1 for 1 sandwich, but if you're making a bunch of it, put a couple tablespoons of mayonnaise, shake some Frank's Red Hot Sauce in there, and mix it all together, and you've got a spicy mayonnaise. Alright, so our potatoes are nice and brown. I'm going to go to the side here. See how brown and yummy they are and crispy. This is 1 sweet potato that's been peeled, boiled, and diced. And this is probably enough for two plates. So we're going to get that off the heat over there. And I'm going to clean this platter off and I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is just our extra olive oil and bacon flavoring. Let's call it bacon flavoring instead of bacon fat, right? Okay. So, here we have our anytime sandwich. It is a BLT with an E twist, which is the egg. We have a jalapeno cheese bagel. Feel free to substitute an everything bagel, any kind of bagel you want. We put the iceberg lettuce on the bottom. We put a row of sliced tomatoes, which is right there. We put 2.5 pieces of bacon cut in half. And I have a fried egg on top that I melted Gouda cheese on. And this is how you can present it. You can present it open face like this, or go ahead and close that top. One of the jalapenos fell out. We got a stray. And then you could have it closed face like that with those yummy pan-fried sweet potatoes. Doesn't it look good? I'm going to cut it open so you can see what it looks like inside. We'll just go ahead and cut where it's cutting on. So I'll see the yolk coming out. Doesn't that look good? That's what I mean by not really needing that extra mayonnaise or anything with it. Not unless you want it. You like a little bit more moist. So I'm going to cut that open. You got the moisture of the yolk. We've got everything together here. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? See the yolk coming out the sides. I'm going to taste one of these potatoes. Don't mind the fingers. Whew, hot. Super good. You can really taste that smoked paprika on there. Not too much salt, not too much spice. Really good. My daughter's over here eyeing it, so I'm going to have to give her the bacon off the sandwich. Anyway, hope you have a great day. Hope you learned something. Please feel free to leave a comment or questions. If you like this, please hit the like button. That would be great. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you really want to see some really fun stuff as well as mine, I get a lot of inspiration and ideas from Linda's Pantry, so go over to her channel and see the kinds of things that she does. She does some really good, healthy meals. So I hope it was fun. I had fun, and I will be back real soon with a new yummy video, and hope you have a great day. God bless.